There was no thunder, no grand revelation, just the promise of a storm slowly gathering in the quiet corners of our home. My wife, Sarah, had changed. Her evenings stretched longer, her makeup more refined, her attention absorbed by a phone she held like it carried state secrets. I tried to convince myself it was work stress, a demanding project, a temporary phase. But somewhere deeper, instinct stirred, loud, raw, primal. Something was wrong, very wrong. Still, I pushed the unease aside. I refused to become the paranoid husband dissecting every glance, every pause. I chose trust. I brought home her favorite lilies, cooked her cherished rosemary-crusted lamb, left little notes on her pillow. But the distance between us didn't shrink. It sharpened. The vibrant, affectionate woman I had vowed to cherish was disappearing, replaced by someone cool, distracted, almost unrecognizable. I buried the ache and told myself I was imagining things. Love, I reasoned, ebbs and flows. This was just a low tide. Then came a night she casually mentioned a book club meeting with friends. Her tone was light, her smile easy, but something felt rehearsed. Too polished, too careful. I nodded, pretended not to notice, but a tightness gripped my chest as she walked out the door. Hours passed. My restlessness grew. On impulse, I opened the emergency location sharing app we both used. Her car wasn't at the cozy cafe she described. It was parked in a quiet neighborhood across town, one we had no connection to. I didn't confront her that night. Suspicion isn't evidence. I needed more than a gut feeling. In the days that followed, I became an unwilling detective in my own marriage. I took screenshots of vague, encrypted messages. I tracked the addresses she visited. I pieced together the name, Ethan, a co-worker, married, expecting his second child. The betrayal scorched not just my heart, but my conscience. I wondered about Ethan's wife. Should I warn her? Would she believe me? Or would I be dismissed as a bitter husband grasping at straws? But fate didn't wait for me to decide. It was a crisp Thursday evening when Sarah told me she'd be working late. I kissed her goodbye, played the part, then followed a different path. I drove across town and parked a few houses down from Ethan's place. The night was still and I waited. My pulse thudded as I saw them arrive together, laughing close, carefree. I raised my phone and took photos, every click confirming what I no longer doubted. I felt like a ghost watching someone else's life fall apart. Just as I prepared to drive away, another car pulled in sharply behind me. A woman stepped out, confident, furious. I recognized her from Ethan's online profile. Lena, his wife. She strode to the front door and pounded on it with the force of someone who had finally connected all the dots. What followed unfolded like a movie I never wanted to see. Shouting, tears, chaos at the front window. Sarah stood inside, caught in the blast of a truth she hadn't expected to erupt. I didn't trigger the fallout. Lena did. Maybe she had her own suspicions. Maybe someone tipped her off. I'll never know. When Sarah returned home that night, her skin was pale, her eyes hollow. We sat in thick silence, no words adequate for the damage done. She tried to spin a story, misunderstandings, innocent coincidences, but I had the photos, the texts, the knowledge of everything that had happened. And more than that, I had Lena's voice in my ears, shouting through the night. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I simply looked at the woman I had once loved and said, I want a divorce. She begged. She sobbed. She called it a lapse in judgment. But her voice was empty, and her promises came too late. What she had broken couldn't be rebuilt. The betrayal wasn't just in the affair. It was in every lie that came before it. Every moment she pretended to still love me while building a secret life elsewhere. The aftermath came fast. Friends pulled away. Her family grew cold. Rumors swirled at her office. And I learned this wasn't her first betrayal. Only the first to be dragged into the light. Lena and I met once after it all. An uneasy coffee. More necessity than closure. We spoke few words. We didn't need many. There was a strange, quiet bond between us, formed in pain neither of us asked for. She was moving on, gathering the pieces of her family, rebuilding a life for her children. her resolve, her clarity. It gave me strength to do the same. I moved out of the house Sarah and I once shared, into a quiet apartment. No shared photos, no echoes of whispered lies. The silence was different there, clean, not empty. Healing didn't come in a straight line. There were nights I woke up in a sweat, memories crashing in. But with time, I learned how to breathe again. I rest easier now. The chaos is behind me. And though the scars remain, they don't bleed anymore. The truth came slowly, almost politely. But when it arrived, it came with finality, not with explosions, but with precision, one quiet lie unraveling after another until all that remained was clarity. The storm had always been coming. I just finally stood still long enough to feel the wind shift,